No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah, the FANATTIC, the fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with
Hey, welcome into the Fan Act, man. Sports channel for sports fans by sports fan, man. Hey, listen, man. It's your boy, Coach I. We still got some games going on, man. But let's talk about this day of football, man. I got some guests in here. We're gonna take some viewer comments and everything, man. We got my guy Stat Guy in here. We'll get to him. What's going on, Stat Guy?
Good, rough day for the Gamecocks.
We got my guy Shawty Parker in here. What's going on, Shawty?
What's happening, everybody? Good to be here.
Hey man, listen, we got this 10-3 slobber knocker going on with A&M Miami, man. I try to tell people, man, Texas A&M ain't gonna get embarrassed two weeks in a row, man. I don't care how bad they is.
Well, you know, Vegas knows something too. Just look at the spread.
Bro, how Vegas be getting it on like that? Like be on the dot too. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be right there. It's like I don't know how they be. I know they got people backing up people for these numbers, dog, but they be too close all the time.
Well, they missed on that Carolina game today. I know that.
Well, I told you we was gonna cover that, so I mean, it is that. So Jeff, when did you know the game was over, dog?
After the pick, 7-0. We threw the pick. Y'all go and score, make it 14-0. I knew it was ice right then. I knew we weren't going to cover the spread when y'all went up 24-0. Once it got to be once it was 21-0, we didn't get points on the board. I knew the spread was shot as well. But yeah, 14 when y'all went up 14-0, it was ball game. Nail in the coffin.
And dog, me and Thad was just talking, man. Like, when you looked up, man, we had 40-something points, but other than Brock Bowers, I can't really tell you who was playing excellent. I mean, everybody played good, but who else was really, like, playing? You know what I'm saying? Because we spread the ball around.
Stetson Bennett played amazing.
Yeah,
Jordan Birch out of his shoelaces. God dang.
Hey, Stetson out there like Mike Vick, baby.
Man, the thing that is amazing is this right here. This is what's so amazing to me is that, you know, teams go a whole off season with recruiting, you know, practicing, you know, you go through spring, and you know you have gotten better. Look here, man. We just got better players.
But dog,
we just got better players, man. I mean, like, it ain't really everybody who we play can be a good team.
Yeah.
Like, actually being able to, you know, see Alabama go through this, and you're just like, wow, why they just keep winning? Why they keep winning?
Yeah.
And now to be able to actually have that and see it with your own eye. I mean, we just got better players, man. We just no slight to South Carolina. We just got better players, man. We're in a different league.
Yeah, it's kind of like people was trying to say Oregon wasn't no good, but they all obviously showed, like, you know, they did BYU today. It wasn't like it wasn't even no game, dog. Like you say, it's just when you look across. I was saying in the off season, man, our offense, like people, like even Jeff last week, he was like, we gonna Gamecocks 21-17. I said we got way too many weapons to beat us 21-17, man. You gotta put up 30 plus to beat the Dogs, dog. I'm not saying it can't be done, but we got way too many weapons, dog. I mean, honestly, I was telling Thad, Jeff, we could end the season with the best offense in the nation and still not have a 1,000-yard receiver because we spread the ball out so much.
Yeah, I think the thing for me, man, you know, 48-7, get beat by 41 at home with 5-star recruits in the house. I think there was, like, out of the guys that are committed, I think we had like 10 or 11 came in today to be there when he was there to try to seal the deal. I mean, that's just what a rough way to go out. The worst loss in the history of the the games or whatever. 41, the largest victory, rough. And me and you talk about it all the time, but it's a one-sided rivalry, and it's not because y'all smash us. It's because South Carolina fans want it to be a rivalry. We want it to be the
rivalry.
Yeah. For South Carolina, this is what I explain to people. From South Carolina's perspective, not from Georgia, but from South Carolina's perspective, Clemson is their first rival. Georgia is their second rival. Spurrier said the same thing. But from Georgia's perspective,
we just in the SEC East,
and it's so close, and it's the neighboring state.
You got to win some games for it to be a rivalry.
I said it's one-sided.
That's what he said. It's one-sided. Not for us. Like for us, South Carolina's a conference opponent. Yeah, South Carolina's a conference opponent, and that's what some South Carolina fans on Twitter got mad. It's like, oh, it is a rivalry. I'm like, yes, for you it is, not for us. I give him crap because we friends and we both from South Carolina, but in the grand scheme of things, after we beat South Carolina, I really don't care what South Carolina do. But for Florida, I don't want Florida to ever win. So I wanted Florida to take that L today, though, but they escaped barely.
So, but yeah, from the South Carolina side of things, we want it to be a rivalry so bad. And, we thought it got there. But it's like, even when we had our little 3-year run of 11 straight wins, we won the conference, or our side of the conference once. And it didn't matter to me.
11 straight wins?
They had 3 years where they won 11 games when Spurrier was there.
I thought you said 11 straight wins against Georgia.
No.
What? Okay, I got it.
Oh, that's in the future. Wait till about 2040, maybe we'll see that. But no, I mean, I tip the hat to the Dogs. They came into Willie B, emptied the stadium before halftime. Sad sight to see.
Hey, update. Texas and UTSA 31-20 in the start of the fourth quarter. UTSA. I told people UTSA was gonna give them a run for their money. Boy, Frank Harris is good.
But yeah, the big thing I think is we talk about who Beamer is as a coach, and he's the hype guy. He'll win the offseason for you. He challenged J-Bye, it's a new kickoff, wake up early, get to partying earlier, get to the game, be loud. We did that. The place was rocking. They got to back it up, right? You can't challenge J-Bye to be there, be loud, and then not back it up. And so that I think was really disappointing because that's what they showed up and were loud. Sandstorm was rocking before the game started, and it's funny, Shorty. I talked to Isaiah before the game, and I told him, I was like, dream scenario: you win the toss, you get the ball, you go score a touchdown. We won the toss, we took the ball, and the first play, 12-yard first down completion, and that was all she wrote. So
yeah, that was a long way from a touchdown. But in all fairness, like I said, man, I just hate to say it, and I keep saying it, like, it's amazing to see. I mean, we literally just have better players. Like, there's levels to everything that you do, and everything in life. And like I said, it's almost sad to say it. It says, like, no matter how good some of these teams have gotten in our conference, we just on a different level right now. Our program is operating on a different level.
So what you think it was last week with Texas and Alabama? Because Alabama, they known for having better players too.
Well, the thing I said, one thing about that, I mean, it had a lot going when you got an underdog coming in. And one thing people don't understand is Texas still has there you go, top 10 talent that's there. Yeah. So they have players, but it's a different when you're talking about depth and playing a 4-quarter game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Texas had all year to prepare for this one game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they was trying to make it like that ain't what they was doing, but they really was, man. Let's go. Speaking of Bama and Texas, let's bring old college football with Jonathan Lewis in the house. What's going on, Jonathan?
Another long and rough day, man.
Hey.
Alabama, the score looks good. I'm telling you right now, the team doesn't look that great. I'll just put it that way.
I didn't get to actually watch the game, but that's what we was just talking about, how, at this point, Georgia just got more depth and just better players. And I was asking them, like, about that game like last week. And you watched the game today. I didn't really get to see the game, but I knew in the first quarter y'all was up 28-7. 28 nothing.
Very deceiving. We only scored. So we scored a offensive touchdown. First drive looked great, scripted, right, like most of them are. Then we get a pick 6 from Will Anderson. That's always great. Then we have a block punt for a touchdown. So we're up, 21-7 at that point, really quick. And then, look, Kool-Aid is returning punts for like 45 yards almost per punt. So we're getting it at midfield every time. But, we only get one more touchdown until halftime. You know what I mean? It's like –
So the offense not really scoring. It's everything else.
It was Texas all over again, man. Vanilla play calling, no creativity. And I'll be honest with you, man, I've been one of those people that said, look, back off of Bill O'Brien, back off of Pete Golden, but I don't think I can do that anymore, man. I can't defend these guys anymore. So, I mean, there's nothing else to it. It's just you know how to slow down Alabama, bro. Umbrella coverage. It's all you need.
Well, it's so going into it, I think we all thought getting Jermaine Burton, getting the dude from Louisville, the young guys you had, we thought the receiver core was going to reload. You still think they at the same level that y'all used to?
It's not the receivers, man. The play call is so predictable. Okay. The defense is going to line up, and they know what's going to happen. Dude, you can see it a mile away, man. Like, we never motion. We don't jet sweep. Like, it's just a vanilla offense. Like,
play calling be predicated off a lot of the personnel, too, though.
Yeah, it can. And Tyler Harrell, the speedster, right, coming over from Louisville, he got hurt. He's been injured the entire time. I believe we're trying to do too much, and we're almost like not executing on just the little things, man. And here's the thing, like, we'll use the Texas game, for example. You were there, man, Coach I. Bro, we run the ball 81 yards for a touchdown, right? And then we turn around, and what do? We throw the ball 3 straight times, 3 and out. We get the ball back, throw the ball 3 straight times, 3 and out. We didn't try to run the ball after running for an 81-yard touchdown. It doesn't make sense to me. The play calling just isn't there. But yeah, Thad, it's a great point. Play calling is predicated off personnel and what you can expect. But where are the plays made for Alabama? Even in the Texas game, Utah State game, same thing. It's these backyard, when Bryce Young rolls out, things break down. That's when the plays happen for Alabama. It's not on script, right? It's not when an actual route is being ran correctly, whatever it may be. There are 2 deep safeties. They're right, deeper than the deepest, wider than the widest. Keep everything in front of you. Slow them down. Tackle them, right? Form tackle, and you're good.
I think sometimes, man, these coaches, like you said, it is predicated on the personnel, but sometimes these coaches outcoach themselves. Yeah. Sometimes, like to that point, you just gotta let the Jimmys and Joes be Jimmys and Joes, man. Like, stop trying to do all this craziness. Y'all, but this is the thing though. So did any of y'all watch any of the Clemson Louisiana Tech game?
Yes. Yeah.
Bruh, like, they trying to make things too complicated. Just get the ball to Will Shipley. It don't look sexy, but it's highly effective. The dude had like 9 carries for 110 going into the fourth quarter. Like, what are we doing? Why are you trying to throw the ball around the yard when you know DJ is struggling because of some of his personnel? Just get the ball to Will Shipley. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, I don't know. Like, I think it's like, I know you're getting paid all these millions, but sometimes it's just like, my guys are better than your guys.
And that's what it comes down to, and that's what I argue with a lot with Alabama fans that want to say, like, this year's our year still, like, to this moment now. And I'm the one throwing up the red flag going, no, Georgia looks like head and shoulders above everybody else. There's not a 1A, 1B. There's not a first tier, second tier. Right now there's a first tier and there's a third tier, like, in my opinion, and it starts with probably Alabama and Ohio State and add in a couple others. And then I'll watch Florida tonight. Anthony Richardson has to be hurt because they look like trash, bro, like bad.
Listen, right? I tried to tell y'all he's a hell of an athlete. He's a good runner, but he still got some quarterback skills. So he got some quarterback skills. He don't want to run.
No, he's hurt, bro. You could tell he's hurt. There's something wrong with that dude's foot because every time he turns on it, man, you could tell he wants to run. You know what I mean? If you go back and watch the Utah game, I think it was the second drive of the game, a lineman lands on his ankle, and he gets up limping a little bit. And I think there's more to it. It's cortisol shots, right? They do one.
Shout out the PP.
But
yeah. So back to the play calling y'all was talking about. So Priest say do we think NIL is driving some of this play calling? Like, you know, some of the guys like Bryce, like DJ, they getting these high deals. So I don't know. I would like to think that at least like a Saban, a Dabo, they at the status where they ain't got to worry about like I'm still gonna call my game. I don't think they getting pressure from NIL, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
What
I'm not a player.
I was about to say, Thad, what you think?
I mean, honestly, you know, I would say it would be naive to think it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, money, you know, make the world go round. So if you don't think, you know, Brock Bowers is sitting over there in the third game and he had no kind of conversation. It's the third game and he had no kind of conversations about Kirby and his numbers at this point in the season. I think we would be naive to think anything less.
I got it. I can see that point. So good question, Priest, man. Priest, shout out to Priest, man. Priest show up on Saturday night for me. He be hanging out late with us.
Late night,
yeah. My guy Jonathan, my other guy Jonathan ain't shot up yet. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut y'all. Because think about this right here. If Sam Houston ain't gonna roll coverage, why wouldn't everybody else roll coverage about Brock Bowers? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see you. I feel you. Hey, money talk. You right. Money make the world go round, man. And NIL is changing the game, dog. It could be changing the game like that.
Isaiah, I wonder if that's playing a deal in some of the play calling at South Carolina. Because, you know, I mean,
good point. Because I've been saying that Lloyd need the ball more, but Spencer Rattler is the headliner.
Yeah.
Right. Which I will give it for as much grief as he gets for being a bad teammate and everything at Texas, and we all saw the stuff from him in high school.
I
haven't seen any of that in South Carolina. He takes responsibility. I mean, the interceptions are on him. He's got to complete his throws. He's got to be better and more accurate. But end of the day, man, you can't make excuses week in and week out. We just got to win some games.
So what happened to Michigan State today, fellas?
What happened to a lot of teams? What do you mean?
They was overrated anyway, man.
Yeah.
You think they was overrated, dog?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Mel Tucker doing a good job.
Well, good job. You can still be overrated.
There you go. Appreciate it. Yeah, that one. The question was, he still. I mean, you gotta understand their team last year. You gotta understand they pretty much raped the transfer portal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they was kind of overblown from last year, and this year coming in. Listen, anytime you are ranked, what were they like?
It was 12? Like 12 or something going into this weekend.
They ranked number 12, and you playing an unranked team, and the spread is only 3 points. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
But so now the other thing too is Washington State last week against Wisconsin, Washington this week. Both of those programs are teams that normally trip somebody up in the Pac-12 anyway. They're not. I mean, Washington made it to the playoffs that one year, but they're a decent team. But they run their system. They compete with you. They try to hang in the games, and normally they trip somebody up. But I was not expecting the curb stomp they put on Michigan State. That was definitely the curb.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't even like it was a close. I mean, technically, I guess it was close early, but they pulled off by like 2 or 3 scores at the end. Bro,
like look what
that quarterback they got. That quarterback, that lefty. I mean, he throws a tight spot. I mean, every time he throw it, it's a tight spiral. I'm going to have to look out for him the rest of the season. They got some at quarterback. Washington.
All right, man. So, Jonathan, I'm pretty sure this made you happy. Penn State emptied the stadium down to Jordan-Hare in the third quarter.
There was videos of people leaving at halftime because they were sickened by what was going on. And I said it, man. They need to go ahead and fire Brian Harsin, and it's not completely on Brian Harsin, in my opinion. Look, the administration kind of scaped him out, right? They needed somebody to put the flames on, and they put it on their own coach. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. I'm going to say yes for everything that went down. And I feel like no matter what Brian Harsin does there, he will never be able to get past that. Stigma will always be attached to him. So every time a loss like this happens, it's just going to elevate really what happened. Right, it's so easy for me as an Alabama fan to go, oh, we saw this coming a mile away, and I can't stand Auburn, and I hate Brian Harsin, whatever that may be. No, it's more along the lines of Brian Harsin that dude just went through some shit, man. Like, really,
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
think about it, like I feel bad for the guy, kind of. Like everybody makes mistakes, man.
But this is the thing, like Thad talked about Jimmy's and Joe's. Thad, even back to when you played, Auburn always had athletes, dog. Like I'm watching them today.
Yeah.
It don't look like they got like, they got like
I mean,
five or
they're
six
basically
guys.
the state of Georgia. Everybody from Georgia and Alabama. It's hard to go wrong.
But
Dog.
but the thing is, that's what I'm saying. But I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, where the talent? Outside of Tank Bigsby, where the talent?
And they had to write him a check.
You brought up Tank. The game wasn't. I mean, it got ugly towards halftime, but in the first quarter, it was still a contest. Why did Tank only have 11 touches today? If I'm Tank Bigsby, I'm like, man, why the hell did I come back for this bullshit?
I can tell you why right now, dog. I'm telling you right now what happened. I'm just going to say it. I think Tank Bigsby, number one, he got in the transfer portal. Coincidentally, their boosters got together, and then he left the transfer portal and went back to school, right? In my opinion, in my head, Tank's thinking like, okay, this team ain't worth nothing, right?
Yeah.
He knows they're not going nowhere. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start prepping for the NFL right now while I'm collecting this NIL and this booster money right now. So,
And they don't have the right man running the ship either, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they are, I almost said something, but they are a S-you-know-what show from top to bottom. And I hate to say it, it starts at the top. When you don't have the administration, I think I talked about this in on the previous show. When you don't have the administration and the head coach on the same page, it ain't gonna never work.
They're AD.
So I was about to say, that's what I was about to say. So you think it go higher than even the head coach? You think something the AD?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that's
When
I think that's
when the
thanks because
administration and the head coach ain't on the same, they ain't lockstep and key. It ain't gonna never work.
Look
We're
at
gonna have a problem.
Bo Jackson and Charles Barkley both came out and talked out against Brian Harsin before he was hired. So what do you think they're going to do when this man has something pointed on him like a scandal or he has a bad loss? What do you think the boosters and these guys are going to do? They're going to light fire underneath this thing. That's what I'm saying. So everything he does is just highlighted to the extreme, right?
Man, listen, man. Penn State jumped on them dudes early. They making it. Listen, I'll be honest, man. Auburn starting to make the SEC look bad, dog. Like, hey, man, Auburn, stop scheduling other Power 5 teams, man. Keep it up.
We had them at the bottom of our, finishing at the bottom of the West.
We did, because they finished at the bottom of the West last year too. And you're right. They're going to have to get Brian Harsin out early because it's time to start looking towards next year. I mean, just be honest, dog. Like, they struggle with Sam. They stuck with Priest say slobber.
Yep, I like that.
Hey, man. Brent Venables went up to Nebraska, man, and said, leave no doubt, dog. We going to blow these dudes out. Like, we don't care that we ain't taking it easy on the interim coach or nothing. Like, it got ugly fast up there, man.
Blood.
So let me ask you, this been going on, and Jonathan, you probably seen this on Twitter this week. Is Nebraska still worth it, for a top-tier coach to go in there and coach that?
I'll let Thad start this one.
Me?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say no, not for a top-tier coach. I mean, first of all, just geographically, it's hard to recruit. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to recruit there.
That's been my point. It's hard to recruit in Nebraska, dog.
And I'm just gonna be honest with you. Most brothers are fair weather. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go up there and play in that environment and just try to be acclimated just to, the cold cultural shock. That's why they're devoid of talent. I mean, it's just a hard place to recruit. I don't even really know the academics of the school. I'm sure they're a good school academically, but just in terms of, where they are located geographically, with the other option that you have nowadays, I mean,
yeah. And the thing is, if you're going to try to sell somebody on the state of Nebraska, you got to be winning. And the problem is that's the chicken and the egg. You can't win without Jimmy's and Joe's, but you can't get the Jimmy's and Joe's without winning. So OU went in there and blasted them dudes. I still don't think OU is that
point, coach, or anybody on the panel. Like, what are you selling at Nebraska?
That's
Oh yeah. Well, my thing of why Nebraska is not even gonna. I don't think they're gonna get their first option or second option. I got into somebody on Twitter about this. Is their fans' expectations are unrealistic. Like if South Carolina goes 6-6 this year, Beamer did a great job. Nebraska wants 9 and 10 win seasons right now because they're in a time machine and they forgot it's not 1998 anymore. And so you're not going to get somebody and then put these unrealistic expectations on them in a Big Ten, which while the Big Ten top to bottom isn't great, it's got 4 teams they're going to lose to every year, fixing to be 5 with USC. They're not going to be a 10-win team. So they're going to be a 500 team at best. They're not going to be able to recruit. Like, why would the coach leave a job where he has security to go to a place where if you don't win 10 games, the administration's going to run you out in 3 years anyway? But I did see a funny thing I got into it with. I'm just saying, Scott Frost to keep games close. Maybe they should have kept him around.
Yeah, so I got 3 things to point out on this. First of all, you in a real big problem when I'm sitting here going, they brought up Mark Stoops' name, and I'm going, well, is Nebraska really better than Kentucky?
Like, it's not right now. They're not. Like, not right now. They're not.
So Mark Stoops spent all this time at Kentucky. He's got job security. They don't expect him to win a national championship. They expect him to be competitive in the East. That's it, right? Just be in the mid-pack, whatever. He's good. Then they bring up Luke Fickell. That man ain't leaving Cincinnati for that. He's waiting for Ohio State. So I'm going down this list, and both of you brought up a good point that I wrote down. The first thing, what do you even sell a coach to come to Nebraska? It's not even about saying we're Nebraska. It's what can I do to even get this guy from point A to point B, which is here in Lincoln in the middle of nowhere, right? And the recruiting has been completely atrocious. And by the way, the little bit of leverage you had on recruiting is now got Lincoln Riley on the west side of you, right? And now on the east side of you, you have Mel Tucker. You have Jim Harbaugh, right? Below you, you have Brent Venables. You have Steve Sarkisian. So you're competing at every stop, right? I mean, you even see Brent Venables in the state of Florida, in Tallahassee in particular at this point. So, like, I don't see any type of attraction. And on top of that, by the way, Nebraska lost their AAU certification the first year they got in the Big Ten. So their their academics actually came down to supposedly help out the football program. Little did that help. So, I mean, and by the way, Marcus Freeman is also recruiting right by you, his butt off. So that doesn't help either.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough NIL money to at least compete in for Nebraska to compete in the Big Ten West. Like the Big Ten West ain't like it's easy. I mean, hard now.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. But I mean, who you got? Like Northwestern.
But what are the divisions going to look? Them adding UCLA and USC.
And that happens.
Go to the Big Ten West.
I don't think UCLA is going to go. I don't think UCLA is going to end up there.
Look at it from a facility standpoint.
Oh God!
I mean, come on.
It's not close,
I mean,
bad.
I don't even know what you can sell it. I mean, I really don't.
Well, I think it sounds like what Nebraska probably need to do is lower expectations initially, just to get somebody. Like I say, they're probably gonna have to get an up and comer, somebody from like a Group of 5 or FCS or something. But I don't think the problem is going to be is they don't want to start there. They want to start right now where they're going to be in the New Year's 6 next year. And if a lot of these schools can take a note from Kentucky, then they'll be better off. Instead of trying to hire somebody to take them to the playoffs this year, stick with a dude, man. Find a dude you think good. Stick with him for a couple. Like, Kentucky stuck with Mark Stoops. And it ain't like Mark.
Even Kentucky, you can get better. Just because you're in the SEC, you can get better players.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get better players. You can be relevant just because of the way that you can recruit.
Yep.
Yeah. Plus, Kentucky is a better draw than the state of Nebraska because, for one, I mean, it get cold in Kentucky, but it ain't Nebraska cold.
So Thad made a great point. So they're going to recruit. Nebraska's going to put in their application to the SEC so they can try to get some of those recruits.
Hey, you see what it did for Texas A&M? Like,
yeah.
Come on. Like, Texas A&M always had money, but they was kind of like just under the radar, and then they came to the SEC. Now they big stuff,
That's like Texas and Alabama. You guys, that 12 noon game was like the biggest draw of like all time or something. It was a noon game.
Yeah.
So that just bolsters the money that the SEC contract, all these teams come into the SEC, you can just see exactly why they're making the move. Once again, it go back to the money.
Nebraska needs a Nebraska guy. That's what they need. They need somebody from Nebraska or an alumnus, somebody that just
They
wants-
tried
But
that.
they had a
They
Nebraska
tried
guy.
that.
I know, but what I'm saying is they need somebody that would look. They really. I want to get into it, but Bo Pelini.
Hey,
you know,
he was winning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they
Listen, man. Everybody can't get everybody ain't gonna be able to get a Kirby Smart, man. Everybody ain't gonna get Philip Fulmer and come back to you. Everybody want that guy to come back to their album.
As great as Coach Kirby is, it still goes down to him getting the players.
But
no one has recruited like Kirby.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I was about to get to. You still got to be able to recruit, though.
Yeah, you know that's what I'm saying. Boy, it goes back down to the Jimmys and Joe. Like, that's Nebraska's problem. They can't get the players. When they were winning, they were getting the players.
Yep.
Well,
so I got a name for what about Leopold from Kansas? Could you see he did great at Buffalo. Obviously, he's turning things around at Kansas. Somebody like that, then taking him away from what he's trying to build there to say, come to the historic Nebraska where we sell out every game.
That's a trap job, bro.
Not unless he can recruit. Honestly, I think he's just scheming at Kansas, and he not really, he hadn't played really anybody, but like the points he's scoring is, I think he's schemed. He could be a good recruiter for all I know. I don't know, but that's what they're saying. Like, it don't matter how much your X's and O's is if you can't get no Jimmys and Joes.
I'm gonna tell you where it's hot right now. They're gonna have to get a hot coordinator out of the SEC. They're gonna have to get something like that.
Hey,
and pay them some money.
Hey, somebody said
somebody who can come down here and get those players.
I was about to say, not just a good coordinator, a good coordinator that Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, dog. I heard he's got openings.
You
they
tried
need
to
his number. Contact me.
You tried to get rid of Bill O'Brien.
Hey, man. Like you say you did earlier. You didn't like what he said.
No, see, I defended him so much, man. It's just like Like, I defended him. I defended Pete Golden. I still defend Pete Golden. I still don't think it's all on this guy. But Bill O'Brien's gave me no reason now to, like, just with the play calling now, we're looking at, like, 6 games in a row.
He didn't forget how to coach.
No, head coach is different than I believe he's a better head coach.
No, but he was a coordinator last year, right?
Yes, and look what our problem was last year. It's the same thing, same story.
Okay. Jonathan did. To Jonathan's credit, whether he was or not, he did say it last year that he was uncreative, non-creative in the offensive play calling. Man. He said, like, for instance, we tried some exotic kind of coverages and blitzes in the SEC championship. Kirby and then lost. Kirby went back and said, all right, let's change some stuff up. Monken changed some stuff up. And Johnson said Bill O'Brien called the same game plan for the SEC championship to the national championship. And it's like, when we changed, he didn't. So I heard a lot of Bama fans that didn't really care for Bill O'Brien, man. But maybe he's a better CEO than he is an OC. I don't know.
I give him that, and that's what I said before he came there as a coordinator. I said Bill O'Brien as a head coach, I would like him better in that situation, because what he did at Penn State under those sanctions, everything was miraculous. He won 8 games, right? And he got a lot of blame at Houston, whatever. That's the NFL. I can't speak too much on that, but some guys are meant to be coaches, and some guys are meant to be coordinators. Hey,
well, speaking of coaches and coordinators, dog, LSU and Mississippi State had a good one today. What was the final score? I know LSU was up 3 when I stopped.
It's like 31-16 or something.
I think LSU ended up winning by like 10.
Okay. Listen, Mississippi State started out good, but it's like, I don't know. Brian Kelly, one of them dudes, I don't think he's a great recruiter, but he can scheme you up. But the thing is, LSU recruited itself. I mean, the state of Louisiana got talent. So I don't think he's going to have to go very far. All they got to do is give him time. And I think he's going to be big in that West over there.
Look, you already know my thoughts on Brian Kelly, dog.
You ain't a big Brian Kelly.
I don't think he'll just fit.
I don't think so either. See, me and that, we agree on that 100%.
He said fit. You said Brian Kelly can't coach.
Okay, no, I didn't say he can't coach. I didn't say that because he's won games. I said, number one, he can't win the big game because I'm still waiting on that to happen. Number two, I don't like Brian Kelly as a human being. There's a difference between being a good coach and a good human being, right? What that dude did in Cincinnati to that player, a player died under his watch, right? So you can't allow that kind of stuff to happen. I'm sorry. There's no excuse for that. And then to
Yeah.
do what he did at Notre Dame, the same thing. And then the allegations against him at Notre Dame later on coming out, it's like clearly the guy's got something going on here. And LSU has a track record of bringing in people like Les Miles that eat grass, Ed Orgeron with scandals, and everything else that leads up to that. So, no,
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, you know what? It is more than just a bad fit, in my opinion. It's just I just don't like the dude. Period.
Yeah. Why you think he a bad
But
fit?
I'm sorry,
I
I
was-
thought Stat Guy was about to say something. I'm sorry.
No, Thad. Why you think he a bad fit?
Well, I mean, kind of echoing what he said. I mean, that I just kind of said a bad fit to encompass pretty much everything he said. Like it's when you're not a good person, kind of like the Urban Meyer effect. Like
Yes.
it comes out eventually when
Exactly.
you're coaching, and he's just not a good fit, especially being in the South now, dealing with what you got to deal with.
Well,
He needs
you
to
said
be in the Pac-12.
well, you said it when we first got on here. Money drives everything, and if he can win, people. That's why, like you said, what he did in Cincinnati, allegations from Notre Dame, all that.
Yep.
At the end of the day, man, college football is $1 billion business. If you can put them W's up there, they'll overlook a lot of stuff, man. Like, I mean, look how many shots. What's his name? That played Arkansas. Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino, he's still hanging around, and he done had scandal at every school, man. It's
He
like
almost beat him today.
yeah, exactly. He gave Arkansas all they wanted. They had like a kickoff, a punt return to take the lead, and even Urban Meyer's name is like that, say bad human being, but he can win, and his name been thrown around for Nebraska. You know, if he healthy, we'll see if he healthy or not. You know, I don't know.
Darn you.
He done. I'm making my kid transfer.
If he was the coach and your kid was there, you make him transfer.
He transferred.
Yeah, I don't think he's a great human being, like Johnson said about what you. I think.
Now, how you gonna come in and expect me to believe anything? How I'm gonna believe anything you're gonna tell me about how you gonna raise my child to be a better person? Come on, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's for real. Ohio State rolled today. I think they put up about 80. Last time I checked, they had 70, 71, 77.
77.
77.
Yeah.
Hey, but Urban Meyer ain't gonna come into your living room and tell you that. He's gonna come into your living room and tell you how he's gonna put a natty ring on your son's finger and get him to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm telling don't even waste the gas, man. Don't waste your time,
Yep.
coach.
Hey, you done showed me way too many times how bad a dude, how bad a human being you is. And like you say, listen, as a parent, man, you got to be, winning ain't everything. You talking about raising my son, dog, and I can't be there with him thousands of miles, hundreds of miles, whatever it end up being, man. Like, nah, like if you ain't got his best interest at heart and all you can do is promise me a natty, then that ain't good enough for me.
No.
I'm just because the thing is, dog, whether you win a natty or not, you still can go to the league. You know, you ain't got to win no natty to go to the league. We all know that. Georgia been doing it for years. So, but like that say, man,
Wherever his next coaching job gonna be, he ain't winning no natty because it's gonna be a Holy Bible.
You're going to catch on fire, bro.
Or Presbyterian in UC or somewhere, something like that.
probably, or hey, end up at a school like Vandy. Vandy got them a win today.
That's too high profile.
Vandy got him a win over Northern Illinois today. Hey, Priest going at you, stat guy. Drink tea this late. He said, you talking too bad. Priest crazy. Hey, y'all already know Priest tried to get stat guy last Saturday night to give his predictions on the Georgia South Carolina game, and stat guy said he's gonna save it for the show. He came in the comments and was going hard at AP. Thad.
I remember that.
Hey, don't worry, we got something special for y'all. Stat guy lost the bet, so we got something special for y'all coming this week on video.
South Carolina played the game today?
I mean, they was on. Their name was on the scoreboard. I don't know if they showed up to the stadium. Hey man, we might have to put South Carolina in the Sun Belt, man. You think y'all can take App State?
Hey, I don't want us to schedule App State. You crazy? Shh.
Or Old Dominion. They almost took out both of Virginia's.
Or Jackson
Yes.
State.
Or Jackson State. Jackson State put a hurt.
Bro.
Hey, Old Dominion came one touchdown away from saying they was the best in the state of Virginia.
Yep.
Dog, what's going on in Virginia? Like Virginia, the state of Virginia has talent, dog. Frank Beamer showed that back in the day. They always had DBs. They always had good special teams. I know he a good coach, but they had some Jimmys and Joes. Why can't they keep nobody in the state of Virginia, man? Anybody.
Michael
Coach,
Vick
it got to
ain't
be
there.
the coaches. I mean,
But they keep going through, coach. That's a problem.
you know what I'm saying? It got to be the coaches why you can't keep the players in state. I mean, whomever
You-
they hire, they're not, they're not relating to the players. They're not energizing the fan base. You know what I mean? They're not premium hires. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it's
The
like
coach-
it's like. Go ahead.
Coach for Vautech before this one, he came from a Texas school. He tried to build the pipeline back up in Texas instead of recruiting the state or instead of recruiting the school's pipeline. And I mean, because South Carolina's having a field day going up to the DMV right now, getting 4 and 5 stars, and other people are too. And it's like, man, these guys got to stay home if they want to win. But they're not recruiting the area. The coaches are coming in and recruiting the pipelines they're used to recruiting, and they're not making it a priority.
It's getting crazy with the way, like you say, bringing in the Jimmys and Joes, man. It's just like, it's crazy how the same, like, 6, 7 teams get. I swear, coming up in high school, and even when we was in college, man, it was a lot of teams that could have won the Natty. Like, now it's like you had, like, teams like Colorado that was good in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? Nebraska, Miami, Florida. Like, all these teams was good, and it's like, I don't know. It's like they shuffle coaches so much. It's like how long do you give a coach when they come in these days? Like they got all these new guys like Dan Lannon. Dan Lannon got thrashed, but the first game, but he's since bounced back. How long you think they give Dan Lannon at Oregon before they say enough is enough? Like I think you got to be patient with people, and in this world today,
Well, money has changed everything. Think about this. Steve Spurrier was the very first $1 million head coach, right? So
Yeah.
the more you're giving somebody, the shorter the leash you're going to give them, right? But the problem is every coach that gets hired or extended gets such a massive bump that the next school, let's just say Alabama versus Auburn, right? Auburn most likely won't try to match what Alabama gives Nick Saban to their coach, but the expectation is still going to be there. They're not saying
Yeah.
win 6 and 12 or 6 and 13, whatever that may be. What they are going to say is you got to beat Alabama every now and then, like, right? You can't let this guy run the state and run you out of the state. Like right now, Kirby Smart is ending careers. Nick Saban is ending careers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because of that expectation, that standard that's being set now, it's insane. And I think it's completely wrong of these administrations to say you have to do this. Like Billy Napier should be given like 6 years at Florida to rebuild the dumpster
I agree.
fire.
I can tell you for sure.
But-
I don't know if he's going to turn around or whatever, but I can tell you he ain't going to get 6 years if he ain't making no
he's
progress.
not. But you get what I'm saying, though. Like,
Yeah.
that used to be the thing to do. You know,
So-
it takes time.
So score update in the out west, halftime, Utah 21, San Diego State 0. USC is 14, Fresno State 3 in the first quarter. So the Pac-12 like it's gonna come down to USC, Oregon, and Utah like I thought it would. Look at Bo Nix trying to take it. Bo Nix took it out on BYU. He looked like
Yeah,
he actually looked good against BYU.
I ain't so sure about Utah, but yeah.
Why? Because he let that because they lost to Florida.
That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Just
the
the
thing is,
Pac-12 in general. I mean,
yeah, but I think it's like when it comes to Pac-12 on Pac-12, the thing I think about is something you said a lot last year, like styles make fights. And Utah is tough in the trenches. What that's not a typical Pac-12, like that moniker. You know what I'm saying? So like USC, the Trojans, they're gonna try to like finesse you to death, and Utah like they trying to bring the fight to your face in that phone booth. So I think that could keep them in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that's how Lannon is trying to build Oregon because he's a Kirby disciple. Same thing Tucker doing up in Michigan State, trying to make them super physical. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the Big Ten claim to be physical, there ain't a lot of that physicality going on. Not like that type of physicality.
No.
So that's the only reason why.
What separates the SEC from everybody else is the trenches.
Yeah.
It's the front.
Facts. Yeah.
And when you're not getting those kind of dogs, it's just gonna be a different kind of game. Like how do you play against defense and you practice against offenses that score points, 40, 50 points every week, and you can't stop nobody.
Yeah.
That makes absolutely no sense. This is all you practice against. And you score 50 points, but you're giving up 49, 48 every week.
Yeah.
Because it's the players up front. Yeah. That's all that's what separates the SEC from everybody. That's why if you look at our successful teams, Georgia, Kentucky, even Arkansas, a lot of our teams, we run a lot of 12 personnel.
Yeah, that's right. Even when we pass the ball, you know what I'm saying? Pre said, if I'm not hiring coaches to beat everyone, I'm not building a staff supporting elimination of all opponents. He said, never hire coaches just to beat Bama. You should hire coaches to win games, and if you beat Bama, that's like Wake Forest. Wake Forest does a good job of that. Wake Forest got a kind of different style offense.
Gimmicky.
That offense will never beat a team like Clemson for the most part because Clemson good in the trenches. But at this point, like, I'm not changing my offense just so I can have a shot to beat at Clemson because it's working against everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'll take 10-2 or 9-3 if that means I lose in the Clemson. Eventually, I might luck up and get one. You know what I'm saying? I'm Wake Forest. I ain't got but like 6,000 students. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm expected to beat a Clemson anyway. So, I mean, that's a good point. Like if it's Bama, like I'm not just gonna hire a coach like, oh, go beat Bama. Like that ain't. I don't think that's why Georgia hired Kirby. They hired Kirby to get to the Natty, whether he beat Bama or not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's good that we beat Bama for the Natty, but honestly, I didn't have to have it. I just wanted to know it well.
Okay. With that being said, so how do you feel about A&M? 8-4 almost every year, but they're paying a coach $100 million,
bruh. And I thought it was too much in the beginning, to be honest with you, because outside of the 2 Jameis Winston years, that's what Jimbo is 8-4.
8-4, even at Florida State.
Jonathan, you think like me because I brought this up. Maybe it's in another group chat that coach went in, but it's like Jimbo almost get a pass. How you get that kind of contract? You have these types of recruits that you've been bringing in, and you lose to App State. Anybody else would have been crucified. And it's like
exactly
it never happened. It's like Jimbo get a pass.
And the thing is, people, I saw some Texas A&M fans say, well, the recruiting class from last year can't help yet. Like, dog, the 3 of the last 4 classes, he's been top 10. Like, where all them recruits at?
Top 7, actually. And you know what's crazy is that's a great point because Alabama gets crucified for beating Texas in Austin in front of 106,000 on an 11 a.m. kickoff.
Oh, we still, like, up until we won the Natty, we heard how Cincinnati gave us all we wanted in the Peach Bowl the year before.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, you recruiting. You got all them 5 stars. You let a group of 5 take you to the wire. Like, he's like, I'm like that. I'm wondering who Jimbo got naked pictures of. Why they don't say nothing to him?
Exactly, bro.
Well, in his defense, so he is one of the handful of active coaches that has a Natty. I mean,
bruh. When Gene Chizik was coaching, Gene Chizik had a Natty. He didn't get no pass. They fired him 2 seasons later.
Ed Orgeron,
Les Miles.
Dog, quickly removed.
Dog, what's going? Who he got naked pictures, dog? I'm trying to tell you, man.
So a point I was going to bring up, and me and you talk about this all the time, Coach, is I commended Georgia for what they did, letting Mark Richt go, because they said, look, we appreciate winning 9 games and 10 games every year, but we want to get over the hump. We want to go get us a ring. And I tell you, I wonder.
Before you go, the problem with that is a lot of schools try to take that same attitude, but the thing is, Georgia let him build the program though. Like we gave him 15 years to build our confidence, to let us know we can compete here. Then once he didn't do it, we had to move on. But some of these programs want the Mark Richt effect in the first 2 years, and then they want the Kirby Smart effect in year 3, and that just don't work like that.
So the point I was bringing up is, and I've told you this a lot of times, the next school that I could see potentially doing that would be Gundy at Okie State. He's shown you who he is. He's going to win you 9 and 10 games a year. He's
let him.
Oklahoma State.
The difference is
Get
though,
fired.
get fired.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Yeah, Jeff has always said Gundy is the equivalent of Mark Richt. The difference is Gundy is an Oklahoma State guy. Like he's
Exactly.
Mark Richt wasn't. Yeah, so I wonder how long they gonna give him because you're right. He ain't been able to get over the hump, but he guaranteed like Gundy wins 9 to 10 games every year.
Yeah.
Every year. You know, just
Now,
like Mark Richt.
The 12-team playoff expansion, that's a team that it's going to help because he's finally going to get a taste. And that means Oklahoma State, he's an offensive genius. He's one of those guys you're not going to see that every day. So what's going to happen when they get there? But they got to figure out how to play some defense out there.
They're going to get slapped.
They don't play D out there in the Big 12, but
exactly they're going.
Well,
get slapped.
a guy at the little get together I was at today, he asked me about like, did I think the 12-team playoff was gonna help some teams? I said, help them stay engaged in the season. Yeah,
That's
first round every now and then we're gonna get us a first round where there's a Boise State, you know, or somebody upset somebody. But that second round, they not gonna be able to do it 2 weeks in a row. Like, first of all, that second team gonna see you coming, and then third, you know, second of all, you just can't take that on. Like Thad says, like you talk about the trenches. Like, what if you got to play I don't know, you got to play LSU in first round, then you got to fool around and play Georgia the second round. You know what I'm saying? It's like you ain't got enough depth in your arsenal to take on 2 teams like that. In basketball, it's a little different because one guy can literally carry you 3 rounds. You know what I'm saying? As long as he catch fire. Yep. But in football, it's totally different. So I think it'll help people stay engaged. You might not have as many opt-outs, all that. But at the end of the day, man, the same 5 to 6 teams going to be there. I mean, as a college football fan, I like it. I want to see some good. I love to see more football. I mean, but I don't think it's going to help though.
I want to ask Stat Guy a question to kind of shift gears a little bit. So, right. Stat Guy, do you think Beamer is the guy for you all?
I'm really high on Beamer, but you know, I think that where South Carolina sits right now, he's going to get a 5-year pass. Now, where we're at 4 years from now is going to say a lot. But obviously, I mean, the recruiting class this year coming in is going to be very nice. 24 is already starting to shape up nice. So, and me and Isaiah were talking about this earlier, though. He's won the offseason the last 2 years. He's won the offseason. It's time to put some of the gimmicky stuff to rest and focus on winning some football games. But our biggest problem right now is not having an identity on offense. And so if he's so loyal to his staff that he's not willing to fire Satterfield, it could come back to bite him. If he's willing to ride with his coaches and say we are who we are, eventually that's going to come back and bite you. As the head coach, you got to be willing to pull the plug sometimes. And so it ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun. So if he's not willing to make that move and we do this and we now next year is the same as this year and the year before where we struggle with an offensive identity, it could turn on him fast. But right now, I do think Beamer's the guy that can turn this program around and get us back to the early 2010s, winning 10, 11 games, and potentially vying for one of those last playoff spots.
I think Beamer is the guy.
So you give him 5?
He said 5, yeah, 5.
5 years regardless. He's getting 5 years regardless. After year 5, we need to be 8-4 better every year. We can't. 6-6 doesn't cut it. 8-4 better every year. And as a South Carolina fan, my realistic, not the delusional side of me, but my realistic expectations as a South Carolina fan are for us to go 8-4, and every once in every 3 to 4 years for us to compete for the East in a playoff spot once the 12-team format comes out. As the realistic version myself, but we should be going 8.
I think Beamer is a good recruiter. I don't like coaching wise. I think he need to take a page out of Dabo book and give up some money and maybe hire better coordinators. Like, that's the one thing I said it when Dabo did it. I was like, Dabo is a self-aware man. Like, say what you want about him. He knew early, I need these guys. I need a Brent Venables. I need a Chad Morris. I need Jeff Scott. And he actually took a pay cut early so he could pay them guys top dollar. And that's where Beamer needs to be. Scott Satterfield and the guy that's on defense, man, I just don't think they ready for that. I know they energetic and all that, but dog, at the end of the day, you got to have some guys that that can really put it on paper, man. Because Beamer taking care of the recruiting, but at the end of the day, too, I told you, recruiting is only gonna stay good with wins. Listen, I was saying, people asking, about recruiting and stuff. NIL is definitely there in the forefront at the beginning, but at the end of the day, competitors want to win, man. People don't want to play for a losing squad. And if you can't do better than 6-6 in the first 3 years, the NIL, because you can get NIL everywhere. So it's like you can't really say I'm gonna give you a whole bunch of NIL and then on the field you 6-6. I think Beaver might get 5 years if he can win 7 or 8 games, but if he goes 3 straight years 6-6, I don't know.
We're not. Have you seen our schedule next year? We're not going 6-6. We're going at least minimum 9-3 next year. At worst, next year 9-3. At worst.
What if Spencer Rattler leaves?
Huh?
What if Spencer Rattler?
But where? He gonna go play Canadian football? He's not gonna get drafted with the season he's having this year.
He ain't going nowhere.
But I'm telling you, Marcus Satterfield needs to go. We need to bring us in an offensive coordinator that's willing to give the ball to our workhorse.
But he's still gonna be your quarterback. You talking about where he going, and so you talking about he ain't good enough to go nowhere. But if he come back, he's gonna be your starting quarterback.
Either way, it's a bad thing. So if he's good enough, that means he's leaving. If he's not good enough, he come back. That's a problem. But this is what I always tell fans. I know you can always see the positive for your school, but while your school is supposedly getting better, so is Kentucky. So is Tennessee.
Oh, 9-3 is a big jump.
9-3. This is why I'm saying 9-3 not realistic right now, because you have permanent schedules with Texas A&M, Clemson, and Georgia. Like they ain't going nowhere. Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee ain't going nowhere. Like you gotta. That's like saying you conceding 3 to the big 3, and then you gonna just do everybody else, right?
Oh, Clemson comes to Willie B next year. Clemson comes to Willie B next year.
Y'all year to beat Clemson was last year. I told you that. I'm like they came in there and goose egged y'all, man. I ain't saying it can't happen, man. I ain't saying it can't happen, but I know you want to beat Clemson bad, man. But Clemson ain't gonna listen. They still got the Jimmys and Joes right there.
Better hope they don't have Klubnik starting by then.
Dad, where you see South Carolina the next 2 years?
Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to, beat up on stat guy numbers, South Carolina gonna Carolina.
Oh Lord.
I'm just being. I don't see. Okay. Just real talk. I don't see them. Cause right now, Kentucky and Tennessee are the next 2 top teams in the East, and I can see that flip flopping over the next year or 2.
Yeah.
But I don't see South Carolina overtaking neither one of those 2 teams in the next 2 years.
I think Beamer's best job is to battle Florida for 4th in the SEC East on a consistent basis. If you can say you beating Florida, but you going 7-5, that's still a win to me. For South Carolina, I mean, listen, man, Spurrier did amazing work, but everybody ain't. Spurrier is an all-time great coach, though. Like all-time, like top.
I ain't even cut y'all cold, but you have to understand, all conferences go through ups and downs with certain teams flip-flops and have their little runs. But you got to understand, when Spurrier did his run, Florida was down, Georgia was down, Tennessee. We all were down. Yeah. That's not the case right now. Right now, Georgia's up. Kentucky's up. Tennessee's on a trajectory to go up. So, I mean, it's the times are different right now. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying. Go ahead. What'd you say, Kentucky, about Kentucky stat guy?
Oh, we haven't beaten Kentucky, in half a decade.
No, y'all 1-7 in the last 8.
God Almighty. There's only so much food.
Who the stat guy is?
Our point stands corrected.
I wanted to give him that 1 win. He wasn't even giving him the 1 win.
I didn't want to go back 8 years. It looks bad. But no, where our games with Kentucky are close. There's been 3 or 4 of those that we should have won. It's not like Kentucky is head and shoulders above us. we're on a similar path. We have a tougher with playing Texas A&M. But
this is why I told y'all the South Carolina fans are the most loyal fans in college football.
I'll give you that.
Listen, Stat got my dog, man, but sometimes, especially when he don't like a team, he can't see past it. He was going to tell me they was going to be Arkansas. I'm like, man, y'all going to be Arkansas, dog? Like, come on, bro. Like, we got to look at it. We got to take the jerseys off.
I think Arkansas overrated, too.
I ain't saying they not. Listen, I ain't saying they not overrated, but I was about to say, did you have South Carolina beating Arkansas? No, you had Arkansas. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that Missouri State gave Arkansas a better game than we did, and that's depressing.
Yeah. Priest said he glad this ain't our. He said he glad this ain't our convo. That's right. Like, I'm glad that Georgia ain't in these kind of convos.
The thing right now for
Priest
blocking the state. We're recruiting the state of South Carolina again. There's a lot of talent in this state. Y'all should know because y'all have it on your roster.
But is it good? Continue to have it on the roster.
The thing is, that's what I'm saying. Like y'all are getting more players the last 2 years in Clemson. I don't know if that's by design from Clemson's side or whatever it is, but the case is the better ones are still leaving the state. You see what I'm saying? Like next year, y'all got a lot of good people out of the class of 2023, but we got the number one player out of you got like Spurrier was getting 1, 2, and 3 from the state of South Carolina. Like he wasn't letting nobody get those guys. But then you got to start getting top guys from other states like Florida. Like you got to get some 3 and 4 stars from Florida or like 5 stars in a lot of other states. So y'all got to start doing that. But like Thad alluded to, the problem is, even though you guys are recruiting good, like I pointed to you yesterday, y'all are number 15 in recruit right now. As bad as Florida looking, Florida's number 10 in recruiting. And that's even if you get the 5-star guy, Nicholas Harbor, that you had there today, you still 15 points behind Florida. So it's hard to come up when everybody else is on the come up. That's the thing. Exactly. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like in the West, like honestly, I'm trying to think who on the come up. Like Arkansas.
They're overrated.
But compared to the rest of the teams in the West, though, who would you take second right now in the West?
Oh, hands down, it'd be Arkansas. It'd be Alabama, Arkansas, and then the battle between A&M and LSU.
No, I like Ole Miss.
Mississippi State. Ole Miss, I'm waiting to see how they're this year. I said it was going to be this year possibly because I love Zach Evans. I love the squad they put together.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting to see what that defense is going to look like against a good offense.
So right now, today, with totality from top to bottom, would you take the East or the West?
I'm taking East all day.
That's what I've been telling people. I know people say SEC West. Generally speaking, that is it.
Close now.
It is
close.
But the trajectory
I'm taking
of Tennessee and Kentucky being where they're at, like to me, is kind of like a statement to where like LSU, I don't know. Like they lost to Florida State, they beat Mississippi State, but Mississippi State beat A&M last year, but they had bad losses. Like the West is all over the place, right?
I think if you give it to the
you wouldn't compare, say, Alabama, Georgia. Yeah. Then you say Kentucky, Ole Miss. Then you say Tennessee, A&M. That's pretty. I think that's pretty close.
I think on a neutral field, Tennessee beats A&M by 14.
I'm the same way. I think Tennessee's better than A&M.
And I think Arkansas is better than A&M. And Arkansas, like y'all saying,
close. Okay.
Yeah. The only reason why I would say if you go total all 7, the only thing I think Auburn is the bottom of the West. I think, of course, Vandy's the bottom of the East, and I think Auburn can beat Vandy. You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And Mizzou ain't much better than Auburn. I think it's a toss up this year. But like the top 5 schools, like even South Carolina, though, I mean, is Mississippi State better than South Carolina? I mean, South Carolina beat Auburn last year.
Mississippi State better than South Carolina. I'm just being honest. They are, especially offensively.
Offensively,
definitely.
Yes,
definitely offensively.
I'm not saying they heads and shoulders better, but I'm saying if
they'll win the game
on a neutral site, they'll beat South Carolina.
So that's why, I can see that. Okay. So I can think it's more even than it has been in the past because in the past,
more parity.
Yeah, more parity, definitely. So
I mean, just
We got Priest about to bounce on us. Appreciate you coming in there, Priest. I think he's about to get out on us.
And shout out to PP, man. A great job you doing at Oconee County, man. Keep it up, man.
Shout out, man. Ring the bell. That's right, dolls on top, man. So, okay, give me your playoff 4, Jonathan, right now.
Really?
Give me your playoff right now. I'm putting. Hey, everybody got to go around. The dolls are easy pick right now. This week 3. What you seen for 3 weeks?
Ooh.
Playoff 4.
Georgia, 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Ohio State only because I just don't think there's a challenger in the Big Ten that would take Ohio State right now. I don't think Michigan's to that level. So I'm going to say Ohio State. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think Alabama's going to make it this year. The way we're playing, I just don't see us making the playoffs this year. I think that we're going to.
Who y'all going to lose?
Somebody's got to beat you though, even though you're playing bad.
Alabama's not going to get a mulligan for losing again in the SEC championship game, only because no. Because I'm telling you right now, if we keep playing the way we're playing right now, it ain't going to be no 3 or 7 point loss.
Okay.
You saying you think it's going to be a bad loss, like 14 points.
It'd be like 14 or more. So I think that would kind of like kill that mulligan of giving the pass for 2 teams to get in. Even then, I do think we are vulnerable to lose. I hate to say this. I think we're vulnerable and we're due to lose to Tennessee. Nick Saban has never lost to Tennessee.
Y'all ain't lost to Tennessee in like 20-something.
16 years. So to be exact. Look who you need to beat Alabama and expose them. You need good wide receivers and a good quarterback. That's really what it's going to take, right? 1-on-1 man coverage. Texas exposed that. To an extent today, even UL Monroe was like throwing the ball on us a little bit, and it's like, okay, guys, like this is clearly a big problem. Yeah. And then everybody wants to hype up Bryce Young. That man had 2 interceptions today in the first half. So, like, it's not like – yes. You know what I mean? So, once again, the O-line's a problem. So, like –
So, right now, today, you leaving Alabama out?
I would leave Alabama out. I would put in Georgia. I'd put in Ohio State, only because of the circumstance.
Yeah. And that plays a big part, which is what I try to tell people. It's not just about winning. Like, you got to – it's about what everybody does in college football.
Exactly. So, I'd probably say Georgia. I'd most definitely say Ohio State. I think that this is a crazy one. I do think there's going to be somebody at the Big 12. Oklahoma, it's hard for me to picture a team to beat Oklahoma right now because when I look at it, Baylor does not look that good. Shapen does not look like the quarterback he was supposed to be. Everybody hyped him up. He doesn't look that great. Okie State, Sanders can't help but to throw picks. What feeds into Oklahoma's game plan, man? If you turn the ball over, they're going to beat you. Look at how they're running the ball under Venables right now. These guys are 8.7 yards per carry. And Gabriel's throwing the ball, and they have a good defense now. So, there's a chance that as crazy as it may sound, man, who's going to challenge Oklahoma at the Big 12? Texas, maybe, if they get it together, who, by the way, struggled with UTSA today. So
UTSA got a good offense, though.
They do, but I mean, it's still there.
But it's still UTSA.
Texas ain't quite ready
yet. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, the circumstance tells me that Oklahoma has a possibility of if they stay on track and don't, don't get off track.
So that's 3.
In the fourth one, I would love to say Utah, but losing to Florida was just such a bad loss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there a possibility that USC runs the table? I don't think so. But at the same time, once again, Oregon got slapped by Georgia. Backhand, like mama style, like you pissed, that happened. They kind of exposed what could happen to them. Utah looked very vulnerable against Florida. But once again, it comes down to the trenches, right, which USC does not have to that extent. So – I'm trying to think of who else, man, like could really sit in that spot. Not Notre Dame, clearly, right? So they're already out.
It's hard. That's why I asked the question. I'm like, look, before we get out of here, we got to put 4 out there, dog. It's hard.
So my circumstantial 4 would be Georgia. I'm going to say Ohio State. I'm going to say Oklahoma, and I'm going to have to say USC, man. I just don't see another team that's clearly saying we're going to make the playoffs.
All right, Thad, what you got?
Same thing. I got Georgia, Oklahoma, USC, and Ohio State,
Oh my gosh!
or possibly Georgia, Alabama, USC. Shit.
It's hard.
Listen, it's hard. It is
Yeah.
hard. That's what I say. I mean, we watched 3 weeks. I mean,
SEC teams making it again. Georgia and Alabama making it again. Kind of the same scenario, either flip flop it. But I see USC coming out the Pac-12.
Yeah, the
I can
schedule.
see USC possibly be winning the Pac-12, but I don't think that's going to be an undefeated. And because of their history, I don't think one-loss Pac-12 team getting in.
And
I think it's going. I think
think
it's
they
going to
will.
be. I think it could be unprecedented this year with Alabama and Georgia. I think both of them could run the table and meet in the SEC championship. Both still get in.
yeah,
That's the
And
same
even though-
scenario as last year.
And even
Yeah.
though, but that ain't what I'm talking about. Even though they on the same side, I can see Michigan and Ohio State both going undefeated, having a close game, one of them losing, and both of them still getting in.
see,
Nah.
I just don't see Michigan being that
Dog.
good team.
The
bro.
schedules ain't strong enough. The schedules ain't gonna be strong enough.
But outside the SEC, who's scheduled stronger? You gonna take a one-loss Michigan or a one-loss Pac-12 team? Pac-12.
But what I'm saying is, throughout the season, the SEC, the two teams that the SEC gonna play, you're gonna play more ranked teams. You're gonna be
Yeah, but that's why I got two SEC teams in already, but I got to fill my other two
yeah. But
spots.
you ain't gonna get two Big Ten teams.
I'm just saying.
I don't see that. I don't see that. Now it's interesting that me and Thad both left off a team, and I did it intentionally because I don't think they're going to
Clemson?
make it, but Clemson. So
I think
don't see
Clemson.
that.
I think Clemson was my fifth team because I guess I should have asked the better question is who are the 4 best teams right now, and that might have been a better question because
That
USC
would've been-
definitely.
But Clemson wouldn't be.
Clemson ain't. No, Clemson ain't. But like I was telling somebody today, they may get in by default because who in the ACC gonna beat them? Even though they're not good, they still
think-
might.
I think they're going to slip up.
Oh, you think somebody gonna beat them?
I
See,
think
I'm
somebody's
thinking
going to beat
I
them.
just don't think it's gonna be an ACC representative.
you think they're
I don't
gonna.
either.
Everybody. We got hold on. See, Alabama can't get there when Arkansas beats them. Steve, are you an Arkansas fan, Steve, or you just think
Gotta
Arkansas gonna beat Bama? Because that's a big woo pig suey right there.
Oh, you better. I'm glad they worried about Missouri State today.
Stat guy said his phone kicked him off, but he said no way Clemson makes the playoffs. I know you would hate that if they make the playoffs again. I'm not saying that they're good enough, but like you said, circumstance dictates whether or not you make the playoffs. And I thought NC State was the challenger, and maybe they still are, but they struggle with ECU. They beat Texas Tech today, but Steve Baker say Arkansas is the dark horse. They
No,
better
dog.
worry about Missouri State, bro. But
The
to their
ACC
credit,
didn't have a representative last year, right?
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
they may not have one this year either.
If
Yeah,
Arkansas had better corners and better defense, I could somewhat go with that. But when you got Missouri State doing what they do, I mean, I don't know how you make that argument.
I just think the West outside of Bama. I still don't think Bama. You say they gonna lose. I don't think they gonna lose. I just like that said, they just got better Jimmys and Joes. I think that West, the rest of the West though.
Only person who can beat them in the West would possibly be that has the firepower would be Ole Miss or Texas A&M. Them the only two people that has the firepower.
This stat guy said they might have overlooked Missouri State. They do have Texas A&M next week, so
Dog,
maybe
they had their coach. They ain't overlooking that. They had their coach.
Steve is a Hog fan. He say he's a Hog fan for life.
For what he said.
Yeah, y'all won the game, Steve. Hey, shout out. We love Pitt over here. You know, I'm a dog fan. I love Pittman, man. But y'all, Missouri State did take y'all to the. They took y'all to the wire, dog. A dub is a dub. You still undefeated, and you possibly could beat Texas A&M. I mean, right? Last time I checked, they was up on Miami 17-3. So we'll see how that one go, man. Y'all got any parting words before we get up out of here, man? I done kept y'all on here an hour and 15 minutes, man.
Jason
Nah,
Shelley,
I
Missouri State.
enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, man. So we do it every Saturday at 11 o'clock, man. We try to talk about today's games. Utah is pulling away from San Diego State. It's 28-0. I think Florida had a little something for Utah, but I think Utah bounced back, and Utah and USC going. That's where it's gonna come down in that Pac-12. So y'all could be right, man. Maybe Lincoln does it in his first year out there, but they gotta get their defense together. So
and O-line.
I think
Jimbo just beat the number 12 team now, so that'll bounce back.
Well, good thing they come to Tuscaloosa October 8th. We're going to see how that bounce back happens. When they get skull dragged across the field. I don't think anybody's forgetting that game.
So, okay, so for what you done said all show, how Alabama been struggling, you still feel like they going to drag A&M?
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but I mean, I'm
They can't score points, man. That's their fault.
Yeah.
They can't score points.
Yeah. I think Alabama was head and shoulders number one in West. I just think they've been lack of focus. Focus.
And I think it's a personal game, man. Like, look at Will Anderson said it. It's a personal game. They made it personal. You don't do that in football, man. So Bobby Petrino's got me. Bro, don't even get me started with that stuff, bro.
Hey, those are facts, man. But like when you trying to contend for the West
FCS.
in the SEC, the thing is, regardless, like even though like that's what I'm saying. We said that kind of early. I don't know when you joined the show, man. It's like when you're in the SEC, you held to a higher standard. Like you can't play tough games against a special FCS school and still be. You had like because you played that tough game against that close game against Missouri State, you can't lose now. Like if you lose. Then they're going to be like, well, they got one loss and they got a bad win because that's technically a bad win when you struggle with the FCS. So, hey, listen, again, like I said, I like Pittman, but they don't know. They just ain't got the horses to run with Bama, man. Like, if it's going to happen, it's going to be Ole Miss. Or I could see Jonathan's where y'all play Tennessee at?
It's at Tennessee. That's why I'm projecting a possible loss. That's why I'm saying that. And the only reason I'm not giving
Arkansas can't stop a nosebleed.
They can't, and that's Arkansas's problem. They just gave up 357 yards to Missouri State's quarterback Shelley. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Exposing these teams on the up and up. Coincidentally, both have bad corner play, bad safety play.
Yeah, and like I said, I just don't see a Nick Saban team playing like this 12 straight games. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't see it.
Not.
Yeah. I don't see it, man. It's Nick Saban, man. And he the GOAT for a reason.
They got too many good players, man. They okay. Like Coach kind of saying, like you guys may not be playing up to your usual standard, but your baseline is already so much higher than everyone else, man. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. What's good, Wallace, man?
Y'all good, man. Y'all straight.
Man, you getting in here late, Wallace. We about to wrap this thing up, man. Where you been partying, man? I know the dogs took out South Carolina, dog, but you got to put the bottle down.
Shout out to Nick Saban, by the way. We brought in Scott Frost as an analyst.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he was seen on campus today.
Like seriously? Wow.
Bro, the coach of rehab center.
There you go.
The coach of rehab center is alive and well, dog. Oh my God.
They said I guess he was spotted. Yeah, my Twitter blew up a little bit ago. People taking pictures saying he was spotted on campus today. So looks like
you called it, Wallace. Wallace had told me, he said Scott Frost was gonna be gone. I said, man, they ain't gonna fire him before the contract, go down.
No,
they say they got
awful.
Dog, they say they got $7.5 million. They don't even want to wait 19 days.
Oh, he was awful.
He was, dog.
You had to let him go.
He looked like sometimes we must have some West Coast people rolling in here. You say he didn't know. Oh, yeah. Every Saturday, Wallace, every Saturday at 11 Eastern, man, we're going to get on here and talk about Saturday's football, man. So, I welcome to get back in here, man. Wallace be supporting the channel, man. We got views going up now. Some West Coast people rolling up in here. We got some Oregon fans out there watching. Y'all coming. So y'all probably happy y'all did BYU. So look.
That was a big win. That was a big win. A higher ranked opponent.
That's what I'm saying. So they said, everybody was saying Oregon trash. But then last week when BYU beats Baylor, now they was this is my thing, and they do this to Georgia a lot. They'll be like, "Oh, this is the team that Georgia ain't seen this, they ain't seen that." But then when we beat them, they be like, "Oh, that wasn't no good win." I'm like, "Listen, if it's a good game before the game, yeah, it's every week. It's like we can't."
Coach, it's levels to it, Coach. Go back and look at our last 16 games, 15 games. Other than that Alabama game in the SEC championship, we don't mollywalk everybody.
Yeah, we have.
Like we just got better. We got better players. Like it's levels to it.
But I'm like,
These other teams are good, but they not like I think Jonathan said it earlier. It's like we got that 1A, and everybody else has got that. We're 1A.
So this is my thing.
3 teams on that 1A level.
Yeah. So because they said BYU was good last week, and then Oregon was trash the week before. Oregon just beat them by 2 scores. Is that a good win for Oregon now? You know what I'm saying? Or they're gonna try to say BYU ain't no good. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't change the narrative. Either they good going in and they good after, and it's a good win, or they trash before. You know, it's like.
Depends on your glasses, bro. It depends on what you're wearing.
It's like exactly. It's like it depends on what fits your narrative. My thing is, if you tell me, like I heard somebody say that Spencer Rattler was the best passer we done seen so far. I'm like, maybe I don't know.
Point he was.
Yeah, but you know, then they'll talk about how South Carolina ain't no good, which we knew that going in. You know what I'm saying? It's like so the fact that there was people saying that
two different questions though. I mean, their team and him as a passer are 2 different things. I mean, he's definitely the best passer we have played. We only 3rd game in the season.
True.
But they also probably, I wouldn't say the worst team called Sam Houston. Now, Sam Houston State was probably a worse team.
Sanford.
I'm sorry, Sanford. But I honestly think they were better coached.
They was better coaches. You could see it. You could see it in the game. We just, like you say, we just got massively talented athletes. But I think they had a better game plan than Oregon and South Carolina, to be honest with you, and they executed better. So they just don't have the talent that we do.
Right. Miami really gonna let Texas A&M come back at the very end? Texas A&M. Sorry, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Yeah, Miami only down 8 now. They was down 17-3.
They got the ball past midfield with 117.
Hey man, listen man, I'm like that now, man. At what point do they start calling Jimbo, holding him accountable, man? What's going on?
Get a pass, man. I don't know what it is about Jimbo. I don't. Cause any other coach would have been crucified.
Stat guy, you getting sleepy, dog. You're not better than Oregon.
You need some coffee, or you need.
You're not better than Oregon, dog.
I got some ashwagandha, bro. If you need to take something.
This is what I'm trying to tell you, man. Like people can't see past them team colored glasses, man. It's like
so Cole. That's just like I'm gonna tell you, like stat guy, just as an example for South Carolina. Number 36, that safety is no way he would even get on the field at Georgia. But some of the stuff I seen him do today, he wouldn't even get on the field. And that's what I mean about just talent and having better players. Like the way he executed, the way his technique, everything is just piss poor. Like you're not going to see, like we have set a baseline. You're not going to see a Georgia player do anything like that kid did.
Yeah, that's
or
fact,
he wouldn't
man.
play anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where the difference lies. But to Wallace's question, me and Johnson talk about this. He want to know why Burton left to go to Bama and now he ain't getting no yards. Listen, as it stands, Bama has a more. Listen, we are passing more. We like 63% pass at Georgia. There's 2 reasons why Bama. I think Burton left. Bama has a quarterback that's more like they've had like what 3-4 years straight where you got like 2,000-yard receivers. You know what I'm saying? It's more pass happy. Like we passed a lot of balls, but we passed like we have a lot more. They go down the field more. Let's just say that. And Burton was looking.
Control.
You got tight ends too.
Exactly. And Burton was looking for more targets. Even though Bama is more pass happy, we have more targets in Athens to spread the ball around. So like when he's in Alabama, there's 3 targets. There's, whatever 3 wide receivers and Jahmyr Gibbs here and there.
Yep.
We literally got like 3 to 4 targets in our tight end room. That don't even count the running backs or the receivers, and it's like 6 receivers. So if you want more targets, like me and Thad would say, go back to the beginning of the show. Like I said, and me and Thad talked about it on camera, we could literally end up with the best offense in the nation and not have a 1,000-yard receiver because we just got too many people to throw the ball to. And if you look
be honest too, you get a chance to go play with the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
That was my next point. Like, listen, Stetson done won us over, but man, we know it's still Bryce Young, dog. Like, if you can go catch passes from Bryce Young, why wouldn't you go catch passes from Bryce Young? So, I think that's what we do. And I know I wish Burton well, but, there's some dog fans on Twitter loving that Burton ain't got no yards, boy.
It was just a business decision. I can't blame him.
I can't blame him either.
It's a business decision, bro. That's all that is. Like, I don't think people realize that. Like, at the end of the day, that man knows that, look, like you said, you guys got Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers, Eric Gilbert, like it goes on and on.
A.D.
Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Dylan
I'm
Bell.
just talking about tight ends.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying though. Like, so a business decision says, hey, Alabama is going to break in all new receivers.
Yeah,
except Corey Brooks. So why
that's what I
go there?
When he first made the transfer, I said Burton looked at it. For one, like I say, is Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett. I'm going Bryce Young. Okay, now I'm looking at the wide receivers. So they lose Mechie, they lose Jameson. Brooks was kind of, I can go over there and be number one. Like here, I'm sharing. I got to share that ball. I got to share that all those targets. Why not? And the first game, he came.
And that goes back to kind of what I was saying to Jonathan earlier about how personnel, can
dictate
and predicate what you run on offense. Because again, last year with the weapons you guys had coming into the season, even before you got to the SEC championship, I mean, the way you guys could do motion with those type of players that you had, with the type of speed they had, that changes all kind of ways you have to run defense.
Yeah,
just sending guys in motion, then sending guys in motion, help the quarterback find out what defense is running with their man or zone. But now with the personnel you have, those guys are not as explosive. It almost like you have to dumb down the offense, because that's where we were at one point. In the beginning of our season, we was like, "Dang, man, we're not really running much. We're not doing much because we didn't have the personnel, because we came into the season with our top 4 receivers gone.
Yeah, I know.
We had to run 12 and 13 personnel, but it just so happened that particular personnel was more athletic than we even knew.
Yeah. And see, I think like for Burton's case, if he was in Athens, it'd be the same thing as it's been the past 2 years. He would end up with about 300 to 400 yards, and I don't think that's where he see himself, which is,
right.
Like Thad said, a business decision. Like, because even if he's, in a better offense, like right now, our offense is better than Bama's. But even if you're in a better offense, that don't, like, honestly, he could be there and still have the same amount of catches that he has at Bama right now. Because Stetson, I was telling somebody, Stetson 3 games straight has thrown it to 8+ receivers. So ain't nobody really getting off like that. Like Kenny McIntosh has the biggest game out of a pass catcher yet. Like the first game against Oregon, he had 6 catches for like 150 yards or something like that. Well, nobody's come close to that. Like today, Browers had a good day, but he had one really big run that gave him a lot of yards. He had 4 catches and then I think almost over 100 yards, but that was that one big run. So he could be in Athens still getting that same amount of catches.
Our leading receiver is Jamar Gibbs. I mean, it's a running back.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, dog.
Our leading receiver is the running back.
Kenny McIntosh. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
And one thing you got to look at it like this, too, Coach, is one thing from a business standpoint is you have to look at it like this here, too. So even if I catch, let's just say I catch, 40 balls at Georgia for 500 yards. I catch 55 balls at Alabama for 600 yards. Whoever wins the national championship or goes the farthest plays a lot in that too, even though the stats the same.
That's
because
true.
The more you win, the more visibility you have.
That's true. And then as an NFL exec, I try to tell people too, getting drafted has to do like yes, it has to do with your talent, definitely your measurables, but it also has to do with your school. Like when NFL execs are thinking about it, when they think defense, they like let's go check out Georgia because they got defense. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like when I want a receiver, let me go check out Bama. Let me check out Ohio State. Let me check out Clemson because that's what they known for. So you got to be like right now, if you want to be a higher draft pick, you got to be like a George Pickens coming out of like, if you're a receiver coming out of Athens. Yeah. Now, if you're a tight end coming out of Athens, they like, let's go to Georgia. Yep. Not, regardless of how good the tight end in Bama is, they're not going to look at Bama first because that's what you're known for. And I think that played a part. And like I said, it goes back to a business decision. He looking at that NFL. He trying to be a first or second round as opposed to a second, third round. That's what he really looking at. Yeah.
Especially after winning.
Yeah. Steve say Arkansas wins the West SEC outright this year. Mark my words. Talk to y'all in November. Still talking smack. Hey, that's what we like, Steve. Hey, man, stand 10 toes down for your team, man. But just make sure you come back for that medicine if things don't work out.
The only right thing you said in that statement.
Hey, we like it, man. But make sure that's all I tell fans in the comments on videos. That hey, man, I'm one for a good trash talking debate now.
Hey, where's Sam Pittman up there selling, man? What you gonna put in the Kool-Aid?
It must Sam be Pittman, good.
Sam Pittman, dog. You could hear in his interviews, dog. He just likable. You know what I'm saying? And you got
talking about drinking the other night, some kind of tears. Where he was talking
about?
He said
drinking? No. He said he was going to give him a cold beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
But this is you got to think about this too. That the 2 to 3 years before Pittman, they didn't even win no SEC West games.
No, they didn't win an SEC game.
SEC games, yeah. So his first year he comes in, he win 3 SEC games, and then last year, he was like 9-3 or 8-4.
They went 9-3 last year.
Yeah. So I mean, wouldn't you change your tone?
No, you gotta taper it. I mean, you gotta know where you. I look at the whole landscape, bro. You got a real elephant over there already. You got a real elephant you got to deal with. Listen, and then I'm gonna be honest with you. And one thing about the West that I get a West credit for, I mean, even when their blue bloods are down, they still good. Like LSU. Yeah, I mean, it's just the LSU just from a parity standpoint. I mean, they solid, man. I would not want y'all to play in that gauntlet every year.
Yeah. I think LSU definitely Ole Miss. Long as Lane Kiffin there, Ole Miss is definitely
Mississippi.
Yeah. So
you can't take nobody for granted.
You can't.
No, you can't.
But hey, Arkansas won 9 games, dog. They ain't had a lot. They ain't on South Carolina fan level though. South Carolina fans,
11 wins.
Dog, I think I got like 2 realistic South Carolina fans, dog. Like the rest of them,
man.
Yeah, you
don't have the players. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be realistic. You don't have the players to be. That's what I'm saying. This game. That's what I'm saying. Like no matter what you thought. That's what I'm saying. You don't recruit it. You don't practice all year. You don't went through spring. You know what I'm saying. No matter where you thought you were, this game lets you know exactly where you are.
Yep.
No matter where you thought you were, this game lets you know where you are. That's what I'm saying. Like, and you may be a good team, but there are levels to this, man. Yep. You're not there yet.
Yeah, facts. And I think it kind of it's the same thing I said after the playoffs when we played Michigan. I'm like, Michigan had a good season last year, but it let them know like you wasn't on that level.
Aiden Hutchinson, you can just step back and not do anything.
And see, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's hard for me to pick Michigan to beat Ohio State 2 years in a row because Ohio State is they're a different beast. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ohio State is on that level.
I think they reloaded. In terms of what they're gonna do in their conference, they reloaded.
I just look at trends, man. The statistics tell you Ohio State's not going to lose to them again. Like it shows you what should happen, and I'm an analytical guy, and I love that stuff. And
see, that's why some of that same reason why I tell you I still don't. I think it's just the history and stats don't say Bama losing more than one or 2 games in the season, man. And one of them losses might be in the CFP playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, when the last time Bama lost 2 regular season games?
2 regular season games? Oh my gosh. Regular season? It's been, I think it may have been 2010.
That's what I'm saying.
We
And
only lost 3 that year. We lost
it might
South Carolina.
now to your point, it might look ugly every game
That's
until
what
they
I'm
get it
saying.
together. But they at the end of the day,
But,
players
but
make
what is
plays.
ugly? What is ugly? They beat
Texas.
somebody 33-14.
If we
No.
lose to Georgia, if we play Georgia right, let's say right now, we would probably lose like 30. I would say like 38 to, I'd say 20, maybe 38-17. That's ugly to me. If you think about it.
Yeah. Steve
No,
Baker
I'm talking
said,
about y'all winning. I mean,
Or
I'm talking about
winning.
winning ugly. I mean, y'all still beating the slop out of people, but what is ugly? Y'all winning
the way,
30-40.
no,
The
it's
way we
it's
won.
the way they win, and just like Jonathan
Today
explained
was a good
earlier.
example.
Earlier, it was a whole bunch, but that's to me. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Steve say Arkansas fans been taking people talking smack for 10 years. It's their time to dish it out. I get it, Steve, because listen, we
Why?
heard.
Who have they beat? And what have they done?
Do you know that no new SEC member since '92 has won the SEC? So Arkansas doesn't think about that.
That's deep right there.
We go into the heart status, like, you know what I mean?
So
Like,
we gonna basically say a clock wrong twice a day at least. So at some point in time they gonna they
gonna
they
have
gonna
to
get a
happen.
win one at some point.
it's gonna happen
Listen.
eventually.
He said Drew Sanders is a beast. Yes. That's why Alabama
He was our
wanted him
third
initially.
stringer. He was our
Baby.
third stringer.
If he hadn't got hurt, I think he would have got. I don't think he transfers from Bama. I think him getting injured played a part in that. He has been balling out. But I get it, Steve.
Who
Yeah,
transferred?
Drew Sanders, the
Sanders. He was our-
linebacker.
For
Yeah,
Okay.
the linebacker for Arkansas. He been balling. Like he balled out last week against South Carolina. He was making.
He's
He
a
was,
stud.
bruh. Yeah, he was looking like he was trying to be a Buckets Award candidate last week. I didn't get to see him a lot yet. I got him recorded, so I got to go back and watch
Well,
the game.
he balled out against us or with us last year. He was second string behind Christopher
Yeah.
Allen before he got hurt. Then Dallas Turner came in and took his cookies and wouldn't let him
Yeah.
back on the field. But no, Drew Sanders is a beast.
He is. Him and Bumper Pool. They good.
Do
As
I?
long as they running a 3-3-5, semblance of that 3-3-5, when they match up talent on talent, man on man,
They're gonna get ran through, just like
They're gonna
it
have
happens
problems.
every time. 3-3-5 does not work against a team with an offensive line. I'm sorry, it never will work.
That's all I know. I'm in
the,
the action,
the
Jonathan.
physics just don't. I mean, just physically, the physics don't add up.
Did Jace McClellan get hurt last week?
Yeah, he got injured during the Texas game. After that,
Yeah.
it was during the 81-yard run. He just tweaked his ankles. All he did.
Oh, okay. Because that's y'all thumper. You know what I'm saying? Jameer Gibbs is the change of pace, all purpose.
Yep.
But
Elusive.
McClellan, he that thumper. That's that guy you get a ball to on that 3-3-5.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, all
If
good.
you run a 3-3-5, you got to have some real
Dogs.
grown men up front. You got to have some dogs.
You gotta have some dogs in that trenches because
Yes.
like you say, just formationally, you setting yourself up to get gashed.
Yes.
Unless you got them like animals in them trenches.
Face
Like
eaters.
I'm for real, man. You gotta
one
have
man got to be able to take two
Yeah,
players.
you got to have Jalen Carter's and you know those guys that take two blocks and still shed them blocks, not just eat space. You got to be able to shed them blocks and make plays. It's what I pointed out to some of the Florida fans about number 21. They moved Gervon Dexter initially to the outside. I'm like, Gervon Dexter is the dude to play the middle,
Exactly.
take two blocks, shed it, and still make the plays.
Oh,
What is
21
he like,
would just take
6'1", 350?
that's that's what I'm saying. Number 21 just eating
Outside.
space. He can't make no plays. I'm like, you need dogs in the middle, dog. Like,
So he
but
look like he about 6'1", man. Maybe he I'm like, man, who is this guy, man?
yeah. But I say it's a difference between taking up space and it's a difference between eating up blocks. Like all he do is take up space. Like Jordan Davis used to eat blocks and make plays. Like that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that is a good point, Wallace. I forgot Mississippi State run that 3-3-5 too.
That's why I said we'll never lose.
That's why they
Mississippi
can't stop a nosebleed either.
State. No, Like,
That's what I'm saying. You got to have some animals out there, dog. You try, especially at linebacker too. You got to have them dudes, man. You need like 3-Will Andersons. You need in the linebacker. You need like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Devontae Wyatt up front. Like you got to hold 6
even
on 5.
Running the 3-4. You know, running the 3-4. You got to have. I mean,
Your trenches
got
got to be right.
You got to have the dogs up front, man.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you, when we used to play that college game, but the NCAA 14 back in the day, somebody running 3-4, I'm like, dive all the way down the field. I'm running the dive all the way down the field, dog. Your guys can't block my guys, dog. I'm sorry. By the time you tackle me, I'm already 6 yards down the field, dog.
that was us last year against Cincinnati. They were running 3-3-5, and I'm like, what do you think we're going to do? We're not going to try to throw the ball. We're just going to run the entire
run the ball.
We did.
That's all it is, man. It's like you say. That's all. It's something I said earlier. Like sometimes coaches like outcoach themselves. Like when you see a 3-3-5, don't get cute.
Nope.
Just hey, man, put them things in the trenches, man. You got you a good running back. Just hand that ball off, man. Turn around, hand it off. Let him get his 5 to 6 yards. We good to go. So he said Drew Sanders got 8.5 sacks
Is that
already.
man really already got 8.5 this year?
What in 3
Hang on, I
games?
gotta check that. Is that for real?
Please verify that.
Because if that's the
Steve
case,
say he got 8.5 sacks already.
hang on.
Bro, if that's the case, he's trying to go for the buckets himself.
That's Heisman.
Yeah, that's better. That's
already.
because Will Anderson had 17.5 last year, right?
Yeah. This man, it shows right here. If it's up to date, he got.
Will Anderson got more penalties
Well, he
than
had-
sacks right now.
Yeah.
He got 2.5 this past game.
Well,
So where we at?
I about to say what he had.
Nah. So if you add up, I don't know if it's with the season 2022 3. Then if I add these two, it puts them at.
Oh no,
5.5.
stat guy checked this. Stat guy said that's facts. 8.5.
Where is
Wow.
the? Where's the
God, that's a lot of sacks, though. What the
That's
flip?
a hell of
this
a pace.
year? He is not an 8.5. Bro, he
Where
had
is he at?
2.5 against Missouri State. He had 2 against South Carolina and 1 against Cincinnati. How is that?
Yeah, that's a
They
lot
didn't
of
play
sacks. That's a
Cincinnati.
lot of- That might
They
be
didn't
tackles for loss.
They didn't play Cincinnati. They played Missouri State.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm giving you all 3
Oh.
games this year.
Oh, okay.
Two and
I
a
got you.
half. You had 2.5. It shows against. I'm on ESPN. 2.5 against Missouri State, 2 against South Carolina, and 1. Now that's a lot still, and 1 against Cincinnati. Don't get me
Must
wrong.
be tackle like stats say. Must be tackle
Must be
for
tackles
loss.
for loss.
Let's see.
I was about to say, but that dude got 8.5 sacks in 3 games. He is winning all the awards on defense.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a pace.
Because I don't care.
Even,
Losing, winning, it don't matter what the team doing. If you do an 8.5 in 3 games, that's like you say, that's a hell of a pace, man. You talking about like, bruh, that's like 24 sacks in a year, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's
I think Derek Thomas had 27 in a year.
well, yeah, and
Like
he was a different, yeah, he was different. He was different. So,
why I
That's kind of
said-
how Will Anderson is, though. You know, he kind of Derek Thomas like.
but like I was telling Jonathan, though, the problem is as far as him winning the Heisman type deal numbers, I think Dallas Turner gonna hurt him because I think Dallas Turner is talented too, and he gonna take some of them sacks. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna have to share them sacks this year.
Well, the main problem is the Heisman is just an offensive award anyway.
Yeah, a quarterback really, unless you like super duper breaking all records like Smith.
Like you got to be a defensive player that play offense too.
Yeah, you gotta make some plays. You know, Will Anderson did have him a pick 6 today.
Yeah, he did.
He might get a couple more of them, maybe. He got in the end zone.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with his penalties, man. Like
You don't have to be a
man, he's thinking
DB that play receive or return kick.
Like
You
a
gotta-
Charles-
that's what I
like
mean.
a
You gotta
Charles
be like
Woods.
Charles Woods or
Yeah.
Champ Bailey or something like that. You know what I mean? You gotta be doing that, some of that. They ain't just gonna
Yeah.
give it to a guy on defense. They're just gonna give the defensive player of the year type thing.
I don't know who the Heisman front runner now. It might be Stetson.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce threw 2 picks today.
I'm trying to think of who else they would
CJ
put up.
didn't play good against Notre Dame.
I tell you which.
Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams.
Stetson, the only player in NCAA history, the first 3 games, throw for 250, throw 2 touchdowns and run for a touchdown.
Get
In the
some.
first 3
Give me
games.
Stetson. Stetson
Get
gets no
some.
credit.
Stetson Bennett gonna win the Heisman, dog.
That would
Yeah.
be. Do you remember, man? Because I'm going to always go back to that conversation we had last year, where I'm like, Stetson Bennett have taken the national championship, but he won't win it.
But the
Hey, I was
Giants,
on that boat. I was on that
me and
boat.
hey, listen, me and Thad, hey, we used to always find a reason why Stetson. But that's what I told people. Stetson proved us wrong. He won us over, and now I'm like, hey man, Stetson make plays, man. That's what Stetson do. He make plays.
Who am I? That's what I say. Who am I?
Exactly.
Who am I to say it? At this point, listen, that's just like that touchdown he scored when he was running and he cut inside on the defensive end.
Ooh,
There's no way that JT would have ever in his life been able to make a play like that. He's
that's
just not
facts.
athletic enough to make that kind of play.
That's facts. Like Stetson, and I think at this point, I think that you pointed this out on one of our live streams earlier. I mean, yeah, we all know he in his 6th year of college, but he playing like he know college football better than everybody else.
Yeah, he know everything like the back and forth. He playing like a 6-year player. Should be playing.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
man is like 38 years old, about to get his doctorate. But the
But it's just like when you play a bad team and you beat them like they're a bad team. Stetson is playing like he's older than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like it'd be different if he was year 6 and he was still playing down to everybody else level.
Yeah.
But now he out there playing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey man.
I remember when Mac Jones came in for Alabama, and they were like, man, they were really surprised at what he was doing. And I said, dude, this man ran scout team for 3 years against Nick Saban's first team defense, because the scout team QB goes against first team defense for 3 straight years. And Saban was always cussing out there because of him. So I'm like, how do you think that made him feel? By the time he got into that starting position, he was like, no, I'm about to show you dude something. I'm about to make an example out of somebody. And he did it.
Yeah. That's why Ruggsy Vid say Stetson's a truly developed quarterback now. He is. And Monken listen, man, it helped him that Monken is in his bag. You feel me? Like them plays, like the schemes, the motions, the dog, he just be having people running wide open out there.
and that's the thing that I have been noticing, that's what I'm saying about, I hate to keep bringing up the elephant in the room, but I have to give him credit where credit is due. Because I used to watch, what's my boy at Ole Miss now, the offensive coordinator, who's the head coach now?
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. And even saw him a little bit with Bill O'Brien last year. And I used to be like, man, I know they got the players. But, when they run their offense, I mean, these guys have so much space when they catch them. I mean, they wide open.
Yeah.
It's the same way
it's so
exactly
Monken, the way he's scheming it up is just like I say, it's amazing, man. Like we get the ball to people and they wide open.
And that's a good point. Wallace say Bennett has been under Monken for 3 years now. True. And like I say, even though he wasn't starting, and I think that you pointed out in our first live stream, this is the first time Stetson had an off season where he took all the number 1 reps. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't never, like he wasn't even getting no reps last year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Until it was time to play. And he took all the reps in spring, whatever 7-on-7 and stuff they did in the summer, fall camp. And like I said, when we hired Monken, I just remember, I thought back immediately to what he did at Oklahoma State with Brandon Wheaton. And dog, he had 1,000-yard rusher, 3,000-yard passer, and 1,000-yard receiver, and he always had people open. I'm like, I don't know how he doing it, but it's always somebody open, and that's what we seeing from Georgia right now. It's like it's too many weapons, dog. Who you gonna cover? Like before everybody load the box. Let's load the box, make the quarterback beat us. Like that's not a really good strategy against us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because people now knows that's
not with the tight ends that we have.
Exactly.
What you gonna load the balls with? You gonna load it with linebackers or safeties? Either way it goes. Linebackers, north safeties, or corners, nickelbacks, what you want to call them, stars or all kind of. It ain't gonna matter. None of them are gonna match up with our our tight ends. Just from a physical standpoint, Darnell Washington is 6'6", 6'7", right? Then you got Brock Bowers. This guy here is 6'2", 6'3", 235 pounds, running like a deer.
Like, and can run routes too. Like, he don't just run fast. Dude can really route you up. Like, that's crazy.
I see him separate. Like, when he catch the ball, he separates from people. Like he beat Angle.
Yeah.
Like he outrun Angle. Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this, coach. The tight end, we running reverses with the tight end.
With the tight end. And
We
what you
running
hate is,
we running sprint reverses with a tight end.
and Oscar Delp looks to be in that same mode.
He just got to get a little bit more physical at the
Little bit. Yeah. Coach. Monken was with Russell at LSU. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Monken, even in the NFL, like when he was with Cleveland, it wasn't his fault. You know what I'm saying, that they was losing. Like Monken has been like this, dog.
I'll say this,
man. I just hope he don't want to be a head coach somewhere or nothing like that.
All I know is I think Bowers is probably the most athletic guy I've seen since Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry shouldn't be that big, be going that fast, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think Bowers is kind of like that. When I watch him, I'm like, how can you jump that high, run that fast, and be that big?
And
It just
still
don't make
still
sense.
light on his feet though. He
And-
light on his feet.
Yeah.
And guess what? Look, I don't know if guess what. I don't really think people give him credit how he tracked the ball. When the ball
Like a
is in the
receiver.
air,
He tracked the ball like George. Like I always said, George Pickens' best
body
skill
control.
was that he could track the ball anywhere. Like he wasn't gonna be no burner. His route running was okay, but George Pickens could track the ball like nobody business. And Brock got that. But
If it's
then,
in the vicinity, it's caught.
Well, he's got
And
a
then-
9-foot wingspan.
bruh, he got wiggle too. You see what he did to the safety today? Like, bro,
That
you a
was
safety.
36, but that was bad technique, brother. That's what I'm saying. That's just bad technique, man. Like you're not
Yeah.
just coached like that. That's what I'm saying. I know they're not coaching you like that. You know, that's something like
Hey.
you would never be able to play. You would never get on the field that Joe. Like you're not even
Hey,
coached.
that sound like something Coach Go 30 will say on TikTok. He's like, that's not my style, is it? I didn't teach you that.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Just
You're
not a
even
really-
coach like that, son. You know, you just went to bed. Like that's just bad.
Yeah,
I don't even think he
yeah,
played.
bro.
But I don't even think he played anymore after that snap.
it could be right, dog. Like, Brock Bowers out here making people lose jobs on the other team.
Is that in Athens or South Carolina? The game?
That was in South Carolina.
Okay, so I wouldn't say they left him at the airport.
Yeah,
but
no,
maybe
no,
they
that
was
sent him
bad,
to
man.
the airport to leave somewhere. Maybe.
Well, I don't know, man. But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all fellas jumping on, man. We're going to do this. Like I say, we're going to do it every Saturday, man. Y'all more than welcome. I always send y'all the link and stuff. Appreciate the Fanatics getting in the comments, man. And Steve, I think Steve was the newest guy here today. Appreciate you jumping in, Steve, man. We here every Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern time to talk this ball, man. Shout out to Rugsy Viz, Wallace, my normals. Who else was in here today? Stat guy, of course, he was here earlier. Priest definitely jumping on. My guy Jonathan Harden didn't jump in today. He probably celebrating the win because he live here in South Carolina too. So yeah, we have to hear it, dog. Y'all think I'll be lying, man? We be hearing how they gonna beat us every year. I don't know where it come from, but we be hearing they're gonna beat us every year.
Brandon.
Yeah. So, hey, man, we'll be back next week. For Thad, man, Jonathan in college football with Jonathan, man. Hey, Coach I, Fanat, we out of here.